going to do a roll call first?
Yes. Robert Kenworthy?
Here.
David DeCombe?
Here.
Sue DeSharm? Absent. Ken Ewer?
Here.
And Michael O'Neill.
Here.
All right, we have a quorum.
Then I would like to call the meeting to order of the City of Guthrie Board of Adjustment, December 17, and it is precisely 5:30. Any public comments before we start?
And I did not receive any through email or otherwise.
Then I would invite someone to move for approval of the previous minutes from the regular meeting.
I move that they be approved.
Well, I was going to say that because Ken and the chair were the only ones here, you guys will essentially have to approve this set.
I make a motion to approve the
Okay.
minutes.
I guess I'll second it. Confusing for the chairman.
Yeah. Yeah,
Motion approved.
perfect.
Previous meeting minutes is accepted. We're now moving to Board of Adjustment Application 20002. Discussion and potential action on a request for a variance to Article 4, Section 7, subsection 7.8, intensity of use, lot width, coverage, and height. Regulation of the city zoning code for lot coverage within the R1 single-family dwelling district to allow for 29% lot coverage, where the code allows a 25% lot coverage for a property located at 608 North Park Place. First item on the agenda regarding this item is the staff report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The property is located on, it's kind of what some people refer to as the Ag. It's on North Park Place, kind of in the northeast part of the community there. It was a lot that was previously built on. The home that was there previously, I believe, burned, and they cleared off the lot. It's an undersized parcel. It's only 5,524 square feet. And the current code requires a 6,000 square foot minimum. However, it's considered a legal lot of record because it was built in that. So that's essentially what brings the lot coverage issue to kind of to hand is the zoning code doesn't always cover instances like this where there are circumstances that are generally out of the norm, hence the variance in that. So the applicant is looking to build what would essentially be a home that would fit within the character of the area. It is in the what's the newly created Guthrie Proper Overlay District in that, and the style and that is all going to be per that code requirements. However, one of the issues is, given the lot, the 25% currently cannot be met, so it's going to be around 29%. And so that's the reason for the variance, is to allow for additional lot coverage to accommodate the home. Going back, the lot was actually platted as such in the original subdivision in that. So based on all that, staff feels that finds that the strict application of the zoning code does create an unnecessary hardship for the applicant, and staff recommends the variance be granted to allow for 29% lot coverage. So with that, I'll give it back to the board if you have any questions. And the applicant is here if you have any questions of her.
Do either of you gentlemen have any questions for the applicant?
Yeah.
I do not.
I don't. I read the file. Can I have a motion?
The only thing since there is public here, are you here for this item or one of the other items?
We live right next door.
Okay.
I was just curious.
If you could step up to the mic, thank you.
My name's Arnie Burkett.
Okay.
That's my wife Cheryl. We were just wondering how big the house is gonna be and all that kind of stuff. I know it says 29%. We're all for a house being built in that lot. make the neighborhood property values go up, you know, so. Anyhow, that's all we were here, just kind of interested in that, you know, so,
Yeah, it's approximately 1,600 square feet.
okay.
In
That's kind of what we were just kind of wondering about.
And the
Yeah.
house itself is actually 23% of the lot, it's the garage.
Right.
The one-car garage that shoots in,
Yeah.
it's actually on, not on your side, it's on the other side. So-
Yeah.
Okay, that's the only thing we were wondering
Yeah.
about.
Okay,
you know.
yeah. And as you guys may or may not be aware, yeah, there was recently the Guthrie Proper Overlay District that was created, and that whole interior area of North Park and that is part of that now. And the whole basically premise behind that overlay is to ensure that the style of homes be fitting of like bungalow, craftsman, colonial, Victorian style homes, which is typical of a lot of that area. Now on east and west sides of those, you have more modern homes, but in that little egg in that. So because of that, yeah, she's going to be required to have a house that has the same character of the area.
Okay, good. That's
Yeah.
basically all we were
Yeah.
wondering about.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. That's the only question I had.
Are there any other questions?
I make a motion to approve.
I'll second the motion.
And that was Robert?
No, it's
Oh,
David.
David, I'm sorry. All right. So got a motion and a second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved.
Perfect.
Variance will be granted.
Yep.
Easier than you thought, huh? Ready for the next item?
Yes, sir.
Next item on the agenda, Board of Adjustment Application 20-003. Discussion and potential action on a request for a variance to Article 4, Section 7, subsection 7.7, yard requirements of the Guthrie zoning code for a street side setback in the R1 single-family dwelling district to allow for a 5-foot street side setback, whereas the code requires a 15-foot street side setback for a property located at 524 North Division Street. And we'll take a staff report.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, this lot is right at the corner of Logan and Division, basically just up the street here on North Division. The lot is currently vacant. The applicant is looking to build a home on the property. The lot is a typical, if you want to say lot for the area, in that it's two of the original platted lots, so it's a 50 by 140. It's a 7,000 square foot lot. One of the issues that comes into play is because it's a corner lot, the street side requires a 15-foot setback versus a interior which is 5 feet. So it takes the typical lot of that area that typically has a 40-foot buildable area and reduces it down to a 30-foot buildable area. And so it does create some site constraints based on that 15-foot setback. Obviously, if the variance is granted, it would allow for a 40-foot buildable area, just like every lot in the area. One of the other things that would keep in mind, just so it's understood, the lot to the west in that, which is on the opposite street there, I think it's Wentz and Logan. That property was developed like many, probably in the 20s or 30s. It probably is only 5 feet off that side street. So actually, not only will the variance help to obviously give a comparable buildable area to everybody else in the area, but the character of the neighborhood will then be more intact because you're not going to have this corner with the house or the buildable area, if you want to say, sucked in more than what the neighbor is. So it helps to keep it in character with the area. So with that, staff finds that the strict application of the zoning code creates a unnecessary hardship for the applicant and thus recommends that the variance be granted to allow for a 5-foot street side setback. And the applicant is here as well, so if you have any questions of him.
Any of the members of the board have questions for the applicant?
No.
Ken?
No, I do not.
I have none. I will entertain a motion. Oh, excuse me. Does the applicant wish to speak?
I don't think so on that one. Pretty straightforward.
I'm still a little fuzzy from the end. Okay. Now it's time for a motion.
Yeah, I was gonna say if
I
there's,
move that we approve.
okay.
I
got a
second.
motion And a
Motion
second.
carried. Variance will be issued.
You guys make it
Next.
easy.
Board of Adjustment Application 20-004. Discussion and potential action on a request for a variance to Article 4, Section 7, subsection 7.8. Intensity of use, lot width, coverage, and height regulations of the Guthrie zoning code for lot coverage within the R1 single-family dwelling district to allow for 32% lot coverage, whereas the code allows 25% lot coverage for a property located at 515 North Division Street. Do we have a staff report?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. This is a almost exact scenario of the first one we heard, other than the lot's a little smaller and obviously in a different area. This is also along Division. It's just west of the subject property that was previous to this. It's a developed property that was one of the original platted lots, a 25-foot wide by 140 lot. The applicant is looking to demolish the home on the property due to the fact it's just dilapidated. It's beyond repair. In doing so, just like the first one we talked about, it's still a legal lot of record, and so from a development standpoint, it holds its legal non-conforming status to be developed. However, it does not have any legal non-conforming in terms of setbacks, etc. The applicant, as you will see from the site plan, is looking to meet all the setbacks in that, even on the narrow lot. But like the first one, the only issue is the lot coverage. Because of the smaller lot, it becomes very restrictive in order to still meet a 25% lot coverage. So the applicant is looking to get a variance to allow up to 32% lot coverage to accommodate the home on the property. That would also include the garage as well. Again, like the first one, obviously the zoning code does not accommodate or have exceptions in it for these circumstances, so it's not anything that was in the control of the applicant. So with that, staff finds that the strict application of the zoning code does create an unnecessary hardship for the applicant, and staff recommends that the variance be granted to allow for 32% of lot coverage.
Is the
Same applicant, yep.
same applicant, busy guy.
Hey, I'm Elijah with Honey Homes, local builder and developer here. And this one is a little unique, like Dan said, it's just one lot, so it definitely makes it a lot harder to get the lot coverage. The home itself is gonna be about 24%, and then since we have to do the single car garage, that bumps us up to, I think it's like 31% is what we're looking at. But like he said, we're gonna meet all the, it's gonna be a shotgun house, so we're gonna have our 5-foot setbacks and our street setbacks from the front. So yeah, that's kind of what we're working with, so. Any
Is it gonna be
questions for me?
multiple story?
Yes, it's gonna be 2 stories.
2 stories.
Yeah, yeah. So each, it's gonna be, I think, 1,600 square feet, about 800 square feet per story. So
Okay.
our footprint on the actual lot is roughly 800 square feet.
Okay.
Is there a current house there already?
Yes, there's a house there, severely dilapidated, foundations pretty much totally shot, it's old sandstone. So looking at the house, like there's just really, you'd have to pretty much start at the bottom and redo all the way up anyway. So I think it's just, numbers wise and things like that, it makes sense just to go ahead and take it down and start something new. And we've built 2 houses in that same area. We're doing the third one and this one, so we're really trying to invest in that part of town and bring property values up and get some new homes in there. So
So the intent is to completely raise it, take it all out?
yes,
Okay.
yes, that's the plan. Yeah, and it's not that area is not like a historical area or anything like that. Like it's outside of the historical And the house is really nothing special. It's just a little two-story, you know,
Yeah.
pretty typical little, I mean, it's kind of a shotgun house as well because it's on just a single lot, so.
And like the first one we had, it is within the Guthrie proper overlay district, so there are the design standards that would have to be accommodated. The early renderings that Elijah has shared show that it would be in compliance with that. So again, it would be a house that would be in character of the area.
I do have a question for you. How long has the current code been where it's a 6,000 minimum square foot? Because this lot, although I understand and I believe that we do wind up probably recognize that house is dilapidated and stuff, and Elijah is bringing in new home and stuff like that, but we're looking at a significant amount of square footage reduced down, you know, to the 3,500. And I know that here in Guthrie and several smaller cities like this and throughout Oklahoma and probably throughout the nation, there's been many shotgun houses that have been built on the 25 by 140, but that's a significant number that I think that we need to wind up also paying attention to going forward.
Yeah, I can tell, I'd have to look. I don't remember if 6,000 square feet was part of the original zoning or not. My guess would be that it probably was, because there's been little change in our zoning code since it's been implemented in the 60s, because the first zoning code adopted by the city was, I think, the mid-60s. And of course, that home, like many of them, were built in the, you know, early 1900s. In that, so most of the homes in the original platted area were built prior to the existing zoning codes. So there were not necessarily lot size minimums that we have today. And I mean, you bring up a good point in that, you know, that's the type of stuff that we probably need to recognize a little bit more and maybe even accommodate in the code. I will tell you that one of the things that the updated zoning code is an increase in the lot coverage in general. That will be 35% versus the current 25%. There's a few other elements that are in there, such as the 50-foot wide lot, street side setback being only 5 feet. So some of the issues that we're starting to see in this original platted area, I'm trying to accommodate in the updated zoning code, so somebody doesn't necessarily have to go through variances every time they want to redevelop those properties.
Yeah, and then the other question that I have, and it's also going to go back to you, Dan, here, and just kind of a note for Elijah. Should this not have been addressed as a double variance here, where it's not just the 6,000 or the lot coverage, but also the 6,000 feet?
No, because it's a legal lot of record. Okay. So that's why I was saying, even though it's undersized, it's still a legal lot of record. Right. So you would not need a variance. If you're wanting to have a property that cannot be constituted as a legal lot of record due to previous development, then we would get in the aspect of requiring a variance to have to build on an undersized parcel in that. But because it's a legal lot of record, that part is irrelevant.
Thank you.
Any other questions for me?
Thank you, sir.
Thank y'all.
That would conclude the applicant's presentation. Are there any motions to be brought before the board?
I move that we approve.
Motion by,
Second.
second by,
All
sorry, okay.
those in favor?
Aye.
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 perfect.
Motion carried.
Yep.
Variance shall be granted as filed. Trying to follow the agenda. Any staff comments at this point?
I just want to acknowledge our two recent appointees, Robert Kenworthy, as well as David Ducombe. Am I saying that correctly, Ducombe?
Ducom.
Ducombe, sorry. as our two new appointees. So now we are back to a full 5-member Board of Adjustment, which is exciting. And I truly mean that, because that's one of the issues we've had with the Board of Adjustment, is not having a full board and needing at least 4 of you to take action has been somewhat troublesome. So welcome, gentlemen, but with that, that's all the comments I have.
Any comments from the board members?
I'd just like to say, I thank the staff for the excellent report they put together. It makes it very easy when you have this much documentation to rely on, so we
Well, thank
appreciate
you.
all your hard work.
Thanks.
In the past, we got a good deal of our information by driving by the site.
Yeah, I tried to do a little bit better than that.
You do substantially better. Thank you. The chair will then, if there are no other comments, chair will entertain a motion for adjournment.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Any second?
A second.
Motion carried. We are adjourned.